In October 2016, 18-year-old tech whiz Sam Poss vanished without a trace after assisting a friend with computer repairs. The initial uncertainty, did he run away or was there an accident, gave way to a grueling investigation, culminating in a grim discovery. Sam's lifeless body, bearing stab wounds to the chest, was found. Shockingly, a preliminary autopsy unveiled a far more sinister cause of death: strangulation. But the darkness of this tale doesn't end there. The revelation of Sam's killers and their motive sent shivers down spines. This tragic narrative serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers lurking online, urging caution in forging connections in the digital realm. This is the harrowing case of Perry teen Sam Poss, brought to you by Tainted Tales. Sam Poss, an 18-year-old from Perry, Georgia, lived in a small community dominated by its military presence. He resided with his dad, Chris, and brother, while maintaining a close bond with his mom, Nicole. Sam's life revolved around his love for video games and coding. Alongside a dear friend, he developed computer software tailored for the gaming community. Known for his intelligence and altruism, Sam had a fervent dedication to both learning and assisting others. His father fondly recounted how Sam would readily set aside his own affairs to aid those nearest to him. In the early hours of October 14, 2016, Chris returned home after a late game night, feeling the stillness of the house as he stepped inside. His instinct led him to Sam's room, but a disquieting discovery awaited him. Sam was nowhere to be found. His computer and phone lay untouched, a rarity for a teenager, as Chris noted. However, this absence wasn't entirely alarming. Sam wasn't tethered to his phone like many of his peers. Considering Sam's independence and penchant for walking to friends' houses, Chris reasoned that perhaps a friend had come by to pick him up. It wasn't out of the ordinary for Sam to wander off to spend time gaming with his buddies, even in the wee hours of the morning. As Friday transitioned into Saturday without any word from Sam, Chris's concern deepened. By Sunday, he initiated his own investigation into his son's whereabouts. His first call was to Sam's friend Zach Chafin, who unfortunately had no information to offer. Determined to uncover clues, Chris turned his attention to Sam's computer. There, amidst the digital messages, he stumbled upon a thread from Sam's friend Dakota White. It revealed that Dakota had requested Sam's help with a video project, to which Sam had agreed. Dakota mentioned picking Sam up for the task. Armed with this new lead, Chris wasted no time. He sought out Dakota and confronted him. Dakota confirmed seeing Sam on Friday, recalling that Sam had left his place around 1:30 a.m., opting to walk home. This revelation added another layer to the mystery surrounding Sam's disappearance, leaving Chris with more questions than answers. Chris and Dakota embarked on a journey along the route Sam would have taken to reach home, hoping for some clue to surface along the familiar path. Despite their thorough search, they came up empty-handed. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Chris took the decisive step of contacting the authorities to report his son's disappearance.
Sam would have left his friend Dakota's house Friday night after he helped him fix his computer. And one of the ways to get to our house, which is at the end of Frank Satterfield, is to come down the trail off of Tucker. And the other way is to come down Frank Satterfield Road, Tucker to Frank Satterfield and down that way. This would have been closer, but it was night, so we're not positive that he came this way, but we've already been down Frank Satterfield and Tucker a number of times, and this was pretty much the only way we could maybe search for him. So
this wasn't unusual for him to walk home or be out this late.
No, he's he turned 18 in June, graduated in June, and his friend had asked him to come fix his computer, so Dakota came and picked him up and then offered to drive him back home. And Sam's like, nah, it's not a bad night.
Captain Heath Dykes from the Perry Police Department paid a visit to Chris and Nicole Poss to discuss Sam's disappearance. During the conversation, Chris and Nicole mentioned that it was typical for Sam to walk home, emphasizing his popularity and the affection he garnered from everyone around him. However, Nicole brought up an important detail from Sam's past that she believed could be relevant to the situation. She revealed to the police that when Sam was just 4 years old, he had been the victim of molestation by his 16-year-old cousin, Ryan. Nicole had reported the incident, but it had strained her relationship with her in-laws ever since. This disclosure provided a potential lead for the investigation, prompting further exploration into Sam's history and possible motives behind his disappearance. Following Ryan's guilty plea to aggravated child molestation, he received a sentence of 10 years of probation, along with a directive to maintain distance from Sam. When the police questioned Ryan regarding Sam's disappearance, he asserted that he hadn't crossed paths with Sam in over a decade. According to Ryan, he was at home with his parents during the time in question. This account was corroborated by his parents, leading to Ryan's exclusion as a suspect in the investigation into Sam's disappearance. With Ryan's involvement ruled out, the police found themselves back at the starting point of the investigation. Determined to leave no stone unturned, they focused their efforts on conducting a thorough search of the wooded area along the route Sam would have taken to walk home. Utilizing search dogs and enlisting the assistance of Georgia State Police helicopters, they scoured the terrain meticulously.
My son Sam has been missing since about 1:30 Saturday morning. He left from a friend's house off Tucker Road to come to his dad's house on Frank Satterfield. He's walking, he's barefoot, which is totally normal for Sam, and we're just looking for him, and we want him to come home.
And have the police been able to give you any information at this point?
They're looking just like we are. The helicopters are coming back out this afternoon. They've been here this morning. They've looked at his checking account and all that, and nothing has been messed with.
Has Sam ever...
Captain Dykes coordinated the operation, mobilizing a team of around 30 to 40 individuals to aid in the search efforts. The wooded expanse became a hive of activity as volunteers, law enforcement personnel, and search dogs combed through the dense undergrowth in hopes of uncovering any clues that could lead them to Sam's whereabouts. Despite the extensive search, the outcome remained elusive, leaving the investigation shrouded in uncertainty. Meanwhile, investigators turned their attention to Dakota, the last person known to have seen Sam. Despite Dakota's participation in the earlier search efforts and initial discussions at his home, the authorities deemed it necessary to conduct a more structured interview with him at the police station.
Just like I said, he done told me already, but we need to go over this a little bit more thorough. Then I decided to get back here. But take you back to Saturday night.
Before we met?
Well, yeah, before we met Friday morning, we met Saturday.
Okay. I met him on the game. We were playing a game together as usual. Something we were working on in the game. It was kind of bugging out on my end. And I'm not the smartest when it comes to the software. I'm more like the hardware when it comes to the computers. He's a software type of person. And I asked him if he could come help me out. He said yes. I told him I could pick him up real quick. I went and I picked him up and came by. He helped me with it. Went to leave, went to walk out. He said he'd walk, it was fine. Okay, go out the door behind him, that's the last time I saw him.
During the interview, Dakota confirmed sending a message to Sam on the night of his disappearance, inviting him over later that evening. Subsequently, Dakota followed up with another message, expressing ongoing difficulties, but Sam never responded, raising further questions about the events leading up to Sam's disappearance.
Did you try to contact Sam after he left?
Yeah, I did. I messaged him by 3 o'clock, I think. I asked him if he'd be back yet, because I didn't see him get online. Yeah, about 3 o'clock in the morning, about an hour after he left. The thing shows whenever you get online, or when you're offline, or just away, whatever it feels like you are. But it says that you're online, and I didn't see that he got back online. Asked him if he was there, and I told him that it was working. Asked him if he wanted to play, and he never messaged me back.
A few days later, a surprising lead emerged, seemingly out of nowhere. Despite the ongoing search for Sam, a high schooler came forward with troubling information. He revealed a conversation he'd had with a classmate named Brandon Warren, who confessed to committing murder.
That I feel in the royalty. But it's fine.
And I can tell when he first said his eyes changed when I said he could put this part in. I've never seen him like that before. He never lost who he was, so he's just dropped a big time.
Brandon Warren, an 18-year-old from a neighboring high school, allegedly disclosed this shocking confession. If true, it would mark the first murder in Perry in 8 years. With Sam's disappearance looming large, the possibility of the story being credible grew. However, a significant hurdle emerged. Sam Poss and Brandon Warren appeared to have no connection, neither in person nor online. This presented a glaring inconsistency in the theory. Nevertheless, the police now confronted the grim possibility that their search might transition from looking for Sam to locating his body. Just as the police were gearing up to shift their focus onto Brandon, another lead emerged, adding a new layer of complexity to the investigation. This time, the tip came from a young man in Oklahoma, pointing the finger not at Brandon, but at Dakota. According to this informant, he was a long-distance friend of both Dakota and Sam, along with a few other boys they had randomly met while playing a game. Despite the distance, the group had formed a bond and stayed in touch through Discord. He recalled Dakota confiding in him one night, revealing that he had recently committed a murder. His friend was taken aback, not only by the gruesome nature of the act, but also by the casual manner in which Dakota spoke of it. However, Dakota didn't disclose the identity of his victim at that time. On the evening of October 19, 2016, at approximately 5:56 p.m., another pivotal breakthrough emerged in the investigation into Sam's disappearance when the police received an anonymous tip. The caller claimed to have information regarding someone involved in Sam's case. According to the caller, they had observed an individual spending an unusually long 4-hour stint at a car wash the day after Sam went missing. Shockingly, the name provided matched that of Dakota White, the very same person who had assisted Chris in the search for Sam just days prior. The revelation sparked a pivotal shift in the authorities' focus, directing their suspicions squarely towards Dakota. With mounting concerns surrounding his involvement, the police wasted no time in obtaining a search warrant for Dakota's vehicle. Their aim was to uncover any potential links to Sam's disappearance, and what they discovered proved to be nothing short of shocking. But more on that later. As the investigation progressed, details about Dakota's troubled upbringing began to surface. Raised in a tumultuous environment, Dakota had endured a difficult childhood marked by his father's incarceration and his mother's struggles with substance abuse. Consequently, he had been shuffled between various relatives' homes. At the time of Sam's disappearance, Dakota resided with his grandparents on Tucker Road, adding a layer of complexity to the unfolding mystery. During the investigation, Sam's friend Zach provided crucial insights into the dynamics between Sam and Dakota. According to Zach, while Dakota and Sam weren't particularly close, they maintained a friendly relationship. Their interactions often occurred within the context of group hangouts, where the trio bonded over their shared passion for video games. Delving deeper, Zach revealed details about Dakota's troubled upbringing. Dakota had recently resided with his aunt and uncle, who were described as strict. The constraints of his environment had taken a toll on Dakota's mental well-being, leading to bouts of depression. Just 3 weeks prior to Sam's disappearance, Dakota had attempted to take his own life, shedding light on the challenges he was grappling with. Moreover, Zach disclosed Dakota's tendency to have a short temper, particularly towards individuals he harbored animosity towards. The weekend of Sam's disappearance coincided with Dakota's Aunt Diana and Uncle Jonathan being away from home. Upon their return, they were greeted by the unsettling sight of helicopters and law enforcement vehicles swarming their neighborhood. Seeking answers, they approached the police, only to learn that a teenager had gone missing. Driven by their concern and curiosity, Diana and Jonathan conducted their own investigation, leading them to a startling revelation. Dakota was reportedly the last person to have seen Sam before his disappearance. Shocked by this discovery, they grappled with the implications of Dakota's potential involvement. On October 19th, the same day they received the anonymous tip, Diana's sister, Dakota's mother, repeatedly reached out to them. Finally, Dakota's mother disclosed that Dakota had confessed his involvement in Sam's disappearance.
So he would do something like this? No. Like I said, he had done so much better. And he was doing well enough that we can have people out of it.
Confronted with this distressing revelation, the White family made the difficult decision to turn Dakota into the authorities. Previously devoid of leads, the investigation now presented two potential suspects, Brandon and Dakota. Both had supposedly confessed to crimes that coincided with the timing of Sam's disappearance. However, neither had explicitly identified Sam as their victim. Additionally, the police grappled with establishing a connection among the three boys. Brandon and Sam appeared to have no prior acquaintance, while Brandon and Dakota, although known to converse occasionally, were not perceived as particularly close by anyone who knew them. Around 11 p.m. on October 19th, Captain Dykes issued a directive to Detective Jason Jones to go and arrest Dakota White. Acting swiftly, Detective Jones apprehended Dakota and commenced questioning.
More in-depth conversation about his parents. Mr. Moss. Okay. We've been looking for him for several days, and we hadn't found him yet. His mom and dad and his family are extremely distraught. And you can understand that. And you will one day when you have kids.
One day.
Okay. So you know how upset they are. Okay. With that being said, we need to find him. Okay. Now,
in a surprising turn of events, Dakota confessed almost immediately.
It's going to eat your soul.
Sam's not alive.
Despite the gravity of the situation, Dakota remained composed and began divulging details unprompted. He admitted to grappling with troubling thoughts and ominously stated that Sam was no longer alive. Additionally, Dakota disclosed that he had assistance from his friend, Brandon Warren. Within a mere 10 minutes, the police managed to coax a tragic admission from Dakota. Sam was no longer alive. Yet, the twisted circumstances surrounding his death and the haunting reason behind it remained shrouded in mystery, mirroring the enigma of Sam's whereabouts. Now faced with the daunting responsibility of informing Sam's parents of their son's demise, the police braced themselves for the heart-wrenching task. In parallel, the Poss family momentarily set aside their own grief to inform those closest to Sam about the painful reality of the situation. Dakota's confession unveiled a chilling plan concocted with Brandon. A plan that initially revolved around harming someone before embarking on a suicide pact. Surprisingly, their intentions didn't initially target Sam specifically. Instead, they discussed targeting a random victim or even executing a home invasion.
just like picking a random person.
Yeah, that's just kind of what it was, and I just think what we were trying to think about, like, we can just drive till we find someone walking or go up in someone's house or something like that, and then it's not like, I could probably get someone over to my house in less than 5 minutes and be like, who out?
It's just very interesting to talk to you, to be honest with you. Did y'all ever discuss how old, how young they could, did you like say, okay, we're not going to hurt anybody under 16, or we're not going to hurt a child?
Or about some little kid that I said no to.
However, Dakota, aware of Sam's vulnerability, reached out to him via message on October 14th. This pivotal moment revealed a devastating twist. Dakota and Brandon had singled out Sam because of his compassionate and generous nature.
He's a nice guy. He messaged me back instantly, coming up at past midnight.
Sam's father corroborated this aspect of his son's personality, intensifying the sorrow surrounding the already tragic situation. The discoveries unearthed by the police sent shockwaves through the community, as the depth of the betrayal and manipulation became painfully apparent. The once unthinkable notion that Sam's kindness had made him a target plunged those who knew him into a profound state of disbelief and grief. Brandon Warren emerged as a troubled figure in the narrative. Described as a senior with dark inclinations as well, Brandon had endured abuse from his family and expressed thoughts of violence, even making disturbing posts about murder on social media. At 3 a.m. on October 20th, the police apprehended Brandon as per Captain Dykes' orders. Unlike Dakota, Brandon remained tight-lipped and promptly requested legal representation. Dakota, however, was forthcoming with chilling details about the night of October 14th. He recounted how he and Brandon had picked up Sam around 12:30 a.m., returning to Dakota's place. Before Sam could exit the car, they launched a vicious attack. Dakota admitted to attempting to strangle Sam with a wire, which unfortunately snapped during the struggle. Caught off guard, Sam questioned their actions, prompting Dakota to utter an apology before resorting to using his arm to finish the job.
You choked him with the wire?
Yeah, I tried to. It broke.
What kind of wire was it?
It was probably the store, little telephone wire.
Telephone?
Oh, okay.
It was on. I just picked up, take with me. You can try that later.
Once that broke, then what did you use?
I was sitting in the back right on the seat.
Okay. Did he struggle?
Not really at all.
Did he say anything?
Whenever the wire broke, he asked what we were doing. The only thing I said was, I'm sorry.
What did Brandon say?
Brandon never said anything throughout the whole thing. And he didn't say nothing, he just kind of stood there for a minute.
Meanwhile, Brandon wielded a knife, delivering fatal blows to Sam. When presented with CCTV footage from the gas station, a chilling revelation emerged. Brandon had been accompanied by Dakota when he stopped for gas that night, and to make matters worse, they weren't alone. Shockingly, Sam's body was visible in the trunk of the vehicle, indicating that Dakota and Brandon had taken some action regarding the body after their gas station stop. When pressed about the whereabouts of Sam's body, Dakota disclosed its grim location, concealed in the back of Lake Joy Village, amidst an animal dump site.
In the back of Lake Joy Village. In the creepy one. Yeah.
He's in the back of Lake Joy Village. Okay.
So Sam, you know.
Will you help, if we take you out there, will you help us find?
I can take you right to it.
Okay. Do you mind doing that?
I don't mind at
So
all.
we can at least recover his body for his family. Okay.
The police were stunned by the horrifying nature of Dakota's confession, grappling with the gruesome reality of Sam's fate. In their relentless pursuit of justice, the police accompanied Dakota to the designated location where Sam's body was believed to be hidden. While the officers combed the area on foot, Dakota remained in the car, communicating with them over the phone. Eventually, the grim discovery was made. Sam's lifeless body was found, along with crucial evidence that would shed light on the heinous crime.
Yeah. Okay, it's not, there's stab wounds right there. Yeah, that's enough. Okay.
Shirt.
All right.
Tragically, it appeared that the police had been incredibly close to discovering Sam's body at the outset of the investigation. The trail leading to the body was none other than the one leading to Dakota's backyard. If the search had strayed just a bit further from the path, Sam's body might have been recovered much sooner and in better condition. Evidence collected included the sheet used to wrap the body, along with the Ethernet cable and auxiliary cord still entangled around Sam's throat. An autopsy revealed that Sam might have survived the stabbing if he had received prompt medical attention. A sketch of the scene provided by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation illustrated just how close to the road Sam's body had been. Further incriminating evidence emerged when traces of Sam's blood were uncovered in Dakota's car, seeping into the front passenger seat cushion. This damning revelation provided concrete proof of Dakota's involvement in Sam's murder. In a chilling admission, Dakota confessed that after the gruesome act, he and Brandon had never revisited their earlier pact to end their own lives. This detail underscored the callous and calculated nature of their actions, leaving authorities reeling from the cold-heartedness of the crime. Initially, Dakota believed he might escape a murder charge for various reasons, but ultimately, he found himself facing not just one, but two murder charges. Dakota and Brandon were tried separately, each testifying against the other. In their testimonies, both boys shifted blame onto the other for instigating the crime. However, crucially, only Brandon's DNA was found on the knife. Despite Dakota's confession to the cause of death, strangulation, which made him equally culpable, both boys pleaded not guilty. Nevertheless, in the spring of 2018, they were convicted just a week apart on a total of 6 charges: second-degree felony of malice murder, felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, tampering with evidence, and concealing a death.
I mean, like grown-up themes, even as like a 10-year-old, and realized that he didn't really believe in the death penalty. He said killing somebody for killing somebody doesn't make sense. to him.
When the trial approached, the Poss family made a decision that might come as a surprise to some. Their choice was deeply rooted in honoring the beliefs of their late son. Despite the brutality of the crime and the profound depth of their grief, the Poss family chose not to seek the death penalty when the case went to trial.
Come on with me.
Your Honor, Ms. Allen and I, on behalf of Dakota White, of course, this case is scheduled for arraignment. We are asking the court to continue the arraignment.
As a result, Dakota and Brandon were both sentenced to life without parole. Although both boys have appealed this decision, the original sentence stands, and they remain behind bars. Reflecting on the harrowing ordeal, Chris Poss expressed profound bewilderment at how Dakota could have feigned assistance in the search for Sam, knowing all along that he had met a tragic end. The callousness and depravity displayed by these teenagers is truly appalling and unfathomable. No amount of hardship in one's upbringing can justify such heinous acts, especially taking someone's life. It's heart-wrenching to think that an 18-year-old with endless possibilities ahead of him had his life cut short in such a senseless manner. Dakota's lack of remorse, and even his demeanor during his statement, including his unsettling smile, only add to the tragedy of the situation. Their actions seem devoid of any rational reasoning. It appears they sought to exert control over someone's life for a fleeting moment, without any comprehensible motive. The gravity of their crimes demands severe consequences, and the sentence they received, life imprisonment without parole, seems fitting. They must face the consequences of their actions and spend the rest of their days behind bars, never to see the light of day again.
He wasn't going to be able to directly impact the world because he was gone, so this was a way we could kind of make that impact happen even though he wasn't here anymore. And it helped us in giving us a purpose for the senselessness of it, because it's still senseless, but now there's something that a positive outcome because of it. It's easy to just focus on the darkness and then just kind of get mired in that, but we've the world's a darker place without Sam in it, but talking about him and remembering him brings some of that light back.
Sam is commemorated through a charity established by his family. Every year they gather donations for a scholarship that supports 2 students in the marching band, offering those who may not afford it the chance to experience something Sam cherished. While no scholarship or remembrance can bring Sam back, he continues to live on in the hearts of those who hold him dear, inspiring them to live their lives with his spirit in mind. Thank you for tuning in, and if you found this content valuable, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe for more insightful content like this in the future. Until next time, take care, and see you in the next video.